2 movies, $2 billion. Neither one of them can afford to lose. If they both flop, we might be watching the last days of the franchise era in real time. I'm Chino. That's Templar. Welcome to the Roundtable. Let's get into it. Did you like my
That's what you call it. That's what you call a hook, folks.
trying to goose those YouTube numbers.
That's what you call a hook. That's how you get people reeled in at the beginning there. It's well done.
I'm gonna try to add like a
well done
underneath,
as you should.
Yeah, some cinematic. Hey, welcome to the Roundtable. I don't know if you can tell, by the way, there's this like sun that keeps hitting me. So we're recording. Yeah, there it is, right there. We're recording in the morning. We don't usually record in the morning. We usually record in the afternoon or the evening. And I have to contend with this window that faces to the east, and it only lasts like maybe 2 hours, where I'll get maybe an hour where I'll get this like this sun thing that happens on my face, and so I end up having to like sit like this. I guess I could move my desk. I guess I could put like curtains up, but I don't know. Templar, you have a window behind you. We tried to over to your left-hand side. Yeah, to your left.
Well, I have a window back here, but this whole wall in front of me is also windows. So.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
yes. So there are certain times in the morning. Today's a little cloudier, where I'll get the sunlight will come through, and these curtains don't really block it. So if I all of a sudden just get like washed out, and like because I get the sunlight in the morning hitting me, you'll know. But
Templar gets flashbanged by the sun.
Essentially, yes.
Today we've been meaning to have this conversation for a little bit. Templar and I were just talking kind of off camera. We've been meaning to have this conversation for a while, and the newest trailer for Lanterns, the HBO Max series that's coming up, that's dropping I think next month or the month after, it just released, and it was kind of like all right, let's do this now because Mandalorian and Grogu is also coming out. Anyway, I contend that 2026 is a make or break year for both Marvel and Star Wars. And I'm going to get your take in just a second, but here's my proposition to that. Avengers, Doomsday, and The Mandalorian, really, they need about $1 billion at the box office just to break even between the two of them. Which is crazy. And that's not profit. That's just survival, right? Like that's just making sure that the studio makes its money back. The MCU and Star Wars are not in a good financial place right now. The Acolyte got canceled because it sucked. The Marvels underperformed, even though it was like kind of a decent movie idea, decent like TV show idea. It just has sucked. Streaming has trained audiences to wait for movies instead of going to the box office. Project Hail Mary aside, streaming has taught people to just wait. And Disney is honestly the one to blame for this. They own kind of the day and date streaming thing. They created the problem, and now they're sort of reaping the rewards of it. Why pay for a theater ticket when, it's not going to be on Disney Plus in 3 to 6 weeks? And if you look at Avengers Doomsday, it's also releasing the same weekend as Dune, the third Dune movie. And Dune already locked up IMAX, and that's not an accident. Like, that's a war between them. And the fan reaction to all of the trailers so far has been kind of like, it's not hate, and it's not hype. It's just kind of like, ugh. And I think
it's just the I'm tired, boss.
Yeah.
I'm tired. It's just the Green Mile.
Insert the Green Mile. I'm tired, boss thing. I think my camera froze. Hold on, let me get this back.
I think that's it. Sorry to cut you out, but like I think you were on a roll there. So apologies.
No. And so I think is worse than hatred for a tentpole thing. And so Templar, this is where I wanted to start our conversation. Are you personally excited for any of this? And so no, let's start there. Are you personally excited for any of this?
The Mandalorian and Grogu, definitely not, because I just never watched The Mandalorian, so I just don't care. And so that's not an indictment of it. It might be good. I've we've talked plenty about my issues with current Star Wars. So we talked about Obi-Wan on the show. We've done tons of stuff with different Star Wars things on the Roundtable. You can go back into our library and see all of our various discussions about Star Wars properties and our issues with them and whatever. So I won't relitigate all that. No, I have no interest in Mandalorian and Grogu. Calling a movie a cash grab is weird because every movie is just meant to make money. Like every movie is a cash grab to one extent or another. But it really does just seem like, hey, people like Grogu. He's a cute little thing. So we're just going to make this to try to milk that. Like that's all this really seems like it is. And maybe I'm wrong. But no, that I have zero interest in. Doomsday. It's tough because I've just been so out. I don't even know what phase they're in now. But I've been so out on the most recent phases. Like up until Infinity War and Endgame, I was pretty locked in. Like I was starting to kind of lose interest towards the end of that run, but I was in it. So like I was there for Infinity War and Endgame, but I've been mostly out on everything since then. So like, will I see it? Maybe. Am I going to go to the movies to see it? As we've established in previous episodes, it's a bit of a chore for me to go to a movie theater because there's nothing really close to me. Yep. So am I going to make that trek for that? No, probably not. I'd be much more likely to go to IMAX to see Dune 3 than I would be to go anywhere to see Doomsday. Like I thought the casting of RDJ was weird to begin with. I get it because he's big name and people are excited to have him back, but no, not really, because I've just been checked out. I mean, I can look up the MCU movies, but like what percentage of the recent MCU movies have I even seen would be my question. Not many in the current, whatever the current phase is, which I don't even know what phase they're in at this point.
Let's do MCU. Is it phase 5 that they're in?
It's 5 or 6. I don't know.
Phase 5. Let's see on the internet.
Are they in 5?
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Secret Invasion, I Am Groot, whatever the heck that is. What If, Deadpool, Wolverine, Captain America: Brave New World, Ironheart.
Okay, multiverse saga. So phase 4, phase 5, phase 6. So
we're in 6 then, I guess.
Okay, so I didn't see Black Widow. I saw Shang-Chi. It was fine. I didn't see Eternals. No Way Home was fine. Doctor Strange 2 was bad. Love and Thunder I skipped. Wakanda Forever I skipped. Quantumania I didn't see. Guardians 3 was okay. The Marvels I didn't see. Deadpool and Wolverine I had no interest. Brave New World I didn't see. Thunderbolts I didn't see. Fantastic Four I didn't see. So like...
Okay, here we go.
So I've seen like 2 movies in this. I had 3 movies. I saw Shang-Chi. I saw Doctor Strange 2, but that wasn't a help. And I saw Guardians 3. I think that's it. I haven't seen anything else since from phase 4 on. So, you know, we were mentioning it before. So Brand New Day, Spider-Man, there's maybe a bit of a different conversation there. But yeah, for Doomsday, I'm good. Like I didn't see any of the recent stuff essentially. So I'm just not really plugged in anymore into what's going on. So it's hard to get too excited. I mean, I hope it's good. I mean, it'd be cool if it was good. If it is good, maybe I'll end up checking it out. But also there is the idea that I just haven't watched a lot of what's come out. So like if I do want to watch it, am I going to miss out on a bunch of stuff that like I would need to have understood from the last however many movies that I haven't watched? Like, because I didn't see the newest Captain America or Thunderbolts or any of these other things. So I just don't know where all these characters are at now going into this movie.
So put yourself then in the shoes of kind of a diehard Marvel person, Marvel lover, who has seen all this, who has tracked with all this. Like, I feel like, and maybe I'm just not reading the same things I used to read or seeing the same things I used to see, and we can have a conversation. We've kind of talked about this, like the idea that cultural bias now is more negative than positive just as a default. But I think there's like there used to be an unconditional hype for these for Star Wars, for Marvel, for any of the Disney properties really, and it's gone. Like, where did that go? Like, when did you stop assuming that a franchise movie was going to be good and just started hoping that it wasn't going to be bad?
When did I start? A few years ago, certainly. So putting myself in the shoes of that, I mean, there's always going to be a core that seems to just like anything.
Sure.
From being plugged into our community and a few other kind of nerd Discord, Christian like gaming or nerd Discord communities, I see a contingent of people within it who just will get excited for any new Marvel, new Star Wars thing, kind of regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a lot of people, and certainly my experience is anecdotal, and it's not huge in terms of my exposure to people. But I don't think there's a lot. I mean, there's probably a decent amount of people who will go see it. But my question is, like, I don't think it's the event in the way that they need it to be anymore.
Yeah.
Not for the budgets that they throw at these things.
Yeah.
Not for something like Doomsday. Like for Mandalorian and Grogu, I don't know. If you said that needs to make $1 billion, I don't think there's any way that movie makes $1 billion.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm drastically underestimating the hype for that movie, but I don't feel like there's a ton of hype. I feel like there's been a lot of skepticism and like, what is this? More questions around that movie. And you never really know until it comes out. I thought the Avatar sequel would not do that well. And then that movie made like all the money. So you never know, right?
Yeah.
But there's a core fan base that Marvel and Star Wars, they can continue to appeal to, but then the budgets need to be much smaller because it's just going to be much less people generally.
Yeah.
So you can't continue on as you did with these huge, like $400 million budgets or whatever the budget for Doomsday is.
Yeah. To me, it's like the fan servicey thing. And I always feel like fan service is jumping the shark, but I think it can be a strategy. Like if you look at No Way Home was fan service as a strategy, but it worked. Super Smash Brothers is fan service as a strategy, and it works. Like there are things, even Super Mario Galaxy or the Super Mario movies, fan service as a strategy. Now that's a different demo, right? Like that's aimed at kids, and so
sure.
It's a little, or like Lego Batman is like fan service as a strategy. Like I think when it works, it's good, but like I feel like it backfires more than not. Like what's the difference between something like The Rise of Skywalker, which is like fan service, call it what you will, like it is 100% fan service, bringing back freaking Palpatine, like come on, versus something like No Way Home? What's the difference between them?
It's less tapped, I guess. Like it was just, and I think there was a interest in people. Like people have a real nostalgic love for the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies and for the Andrew Garfield movies, even. And the first one's pretty good. The second one's a bit of a mess, but the first one is solid.
Yeah.
And so I think that was a bit of a novelty. The idea of like we're going to do a multiverse thing or whatever, so we can have them here, and that's cool. And then bringing all the old villains back, like. So yes, fan service, a lot of nostalgia, and generally it was pretty well done for what it was trying to do. I think they executed it pretty well.
Yeah,
because that type of premise is a little corny, just in its nature. But I think they did a good job with it. I've had zero interest to go back and watch that movie again, but that's just me. But yeah, I think there was a ton of nostalgia for that. It hasn't been sort of run into the ground in terms of the fan service for it. And so I think it largely worked. So also Spider-Man is just his own thing. Like Spider-Man, I feel like is sort of outside of the rest of the MCU in a lot of way in terms of, or just as a character is kind of his own. And I think he is the most popular, maybe with the MCU, he's not anymore, but I know for a long time he was by far the most popular MCU character, I believe. Or the most popular Marvel character, anyway, I think.
Has to be. I mean, it has to be, right?
Like single character. I think so. Maybe that's not the case anymore. But I know like for comic sales, I think that was the case for a long time. And I think individually, he was the most popular character. I mean, that's why Sony has Spider-Man, is because when Marvel was in trouble, which is funny to think about now, but like when they were really in trouble and having to sell stuff off to just get enough money to survive, that's why they sold off Spider-Man. Like they didn't sell anyone else off individually. They sold off the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man. I think those were the ones they sold off. So that says enough. So I think Spider-Man himself is also a bit of a draw.
Funnily enough, they haven't made a good X-Men movie in
Days of Future Past for me is probably the last good one, right?
16, right?
This might even be earlier than that. Was
2014.
14, yeah.
Apocalypse was bad.
I mean, I guess if you count the Deadpool movies or like Deadpool and Wolverine, then those are like Logan.
But that doesn't.
Yeah.
Logan's not like an X-Men movie. That's like a
no.
That is the Andor version of the X-Men universe.
Yes, it is. It's an X-Men, but that's the Star Wars show. I mean, so like, yes, it's different, but it is in the X-Men universe. So yeah. Logan. I'm not into Deadpool. So for me, I'm out on those, and so Deadpool, Wolverine, I don't have any interest. But so for me, I guess it would be Logan. Yeah. So almost 10 years ago, 2017.
Okay. I want to make a odd transition here. We have Marvel and Star Wars, honestly, kind of like playing it safe.
Well, before we move on, though, do you have any interest in these movies? Like,
no.
Where are you at for Doomsday? Like,
no. So Doomsday, both Doomsday and Mandalorian and Grogu, I'm going to do what Disney Plus allows me to do and watch them 6 weeks later with my son on my couch. Not going to pay money to go see them in a theater. Yeah. I very rarely will go to a theater as it is these days, and that's not because remember the days of the future past when it used to be fun to sit in a movie theater, because like I don't ever think it was really fun to sit in a movie theater. The best thing about the movie theater was like the collective, right? Like I seeing all of the Lord of the Rings movies in the theater and cheering, seeing like even like the last good time I had in a movie theater was Force Awakens. And because it was the beloved Star Wars coming back. And honestly, Force Awakens was not a bad movie. It was not a bad Star Wars movie.
Force Awakens is solid.
Yeah, it's a 7 out of 10 Star Wars movie.
7 out of 10.
And C's get degrees, right? And like I cheered, I laughed. There with the audience or the theater was packed. I saw it 3 times in the theaters. I went with myself and my brother, and then I went with my kids, and then we took my kids and then their kid or my brother's kids as well. So it was 3 times in the theater, and each time was like, heck yeah, like the theater was packed. Like that's cool. But then I also saw the Super Mario movie in the theater, and it was awful. I was like, what are we doing? The floors are sticky. There's like kids crunching popcorn next to you. I'm getting a little older. Like I'm not I'm 42, but like I like having my own bathroom. I like being able to pause and like, yo, I'm gonna go get a LaCroix or something, like and not have to pay $12 for it. Whatever. I sound old. But the point is like I'm gonna do what Disney conditioned me to do since COVID, and I'm gonna wait for this to come to streaming, and I'm gonna watch it then, and there'll be between a 5 and a 7, and we'll get to laugh at it in person. That's what it's going to be. So no, I think the interesting thing out of all of this is Robert Downey Jr. And I don't think you and I have not had an actual legit conversation about RDJ coming back to Marvel in the way that he's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And I posit that they just took a checkbook and put it face down on the table and passed it across to him. And then he opened it and saw that there was no numbers there, and it just says fill in the blank, on the checkbook.
Yeah, they give him a blank check. Yeah,
he just wrote all the money and then passed it back, and then the entire MCU board just looked at it and went, "Yep." But I feel like they did that to so many people, right? Like, I don't. What is the budget here? Let's say Doomsday budget. 400 million, a budget of 400 million and a marketing budget of 300 million. That's crazy.
If that's accurate and it's actually 700 million total budget, then that's
crazy.
Yeah, I mean the movie would need to make like $1.5 billion. Even $1 billion is probably not going to make money at that point.
No. That's crazy, though. I mean,
because you get the Endgame made 2.7. This isn't going to make 2.7 though. No. I don't think so. No. We're not there anymore. Mm-mm. That was the end of like a buildup over such a long period of time, like the first 25 movies or whatever, 20 whatever movies it was at that point. And there was hype. There was a lot of excitement for that. And Infinity War was a great movie, which was leading into it. Infinity War is still one of the best MCU movies for me. There's nothing. Like, I don't see any level of hype. Like, a lot of their recent movies have flopped or, like, at least underperformed, if not flopped. Like, Fantastic Four underperformed, and I heard mixed things. It was, like, supposed to be okay. Thunderbolts, I think people kind of liked, but it underperformed. Brave New World generally was disliked. Deadpool and Wolverine people liked, but that's kind of its own thing. And I guess they're in this movie. Like, I guess the X-Men are in Doomsday, but, like, I don't... You're also introducing a bunch of new X-Men, or like, I guess you're getting Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen are in it, right? Because we watched the teaser. Yes, Sir Ian, excuse me.
Yes.
You know, the Marvels didn't do well. Quantumania flopped majorly. Like, I don't know, man. Like, you've just got a run of like pretty mediocre performances. Guardians 3 maybe did well going into this movie. So yeah, for sure. They just wrote him a check. Like, absolutely. And the cast, the way it is, they're banking on it, but like, I guess how much do people care? I'm very curious to see how this does. Like, I'm very curious. But coming out at the same time as Dune kind of seems like weird decision making for both of them.
I agree.
To have that happen, because you're absolutely going to cannibalize each other in terms of success. I don't know why they would do that. Dune is Warner Brothers, right?
It is.
Very strange decision. I mean, if they've locked down all the IMAX stuff, then that's certainly good for them. And I have more interest in Dune, but there's a lot of crossover between what would be left of the MCU interest and Dune, I think. So interesting decision, but that's also going to drop it pretty significantly because they're going to be battling for that spot. And then any of those premium theaters now, studios or theaters are going to have to make a decision of where they want like your AVXs or your, you know, whatever, your Dolby specialty theater, like, because usually there's not that many of them. So what are you going to do? Are you going to give it to Avengers? Are you going to give it to Dune? And I don't know what you do in that situation. So
the interesting thing too, I just want to point this out. Maybe, and then there's not as much tied to Dune, but the cast here, the cast list is, you know, 10 big names for Dune Part 3. The cast list for Doomsday is like all of the names ever. Like, I'm still scrolling.
Yeah, it's everybody. So yeah, it's all the MCU people, plus they're bringing in the X-Men people, plus I think they're probably going to be introducing new characters in this,
Tatum.
like new...
as Gambit.
Oh, as Gambit, right, sure. Which he blew up from Deadpool and Wolverine. So
yep.
I don't know. It's a huge gamble. I don't see it paying off, especially going against Dune. I just don't see how it's going to make enough money to justify what they're spending on it. And then I don't know what they have in the can ready. Like, I know they have Secret Wars that comes out next year. I don't know if they shot them together or if it's kind of all combined or if that's its own thing.
It's not much on it.
But
yeah, filming scheduled to begin at Pinewood in mid 2026. So they haven't even started filming that yet.
Okay, so they haven't filmed it.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's tough.
Well,
ultimately, we're not going to know, but I don't feel a ton of excitement for it.
No, I don't either.
Even in our communities, which are like fairly nerd heavy, plugged into gaming, plugged into media type of communities as far as those things go. And like there is the core fan base. Like, there are the people who just whenever anything drops for Marvel or Star Wars, they kind of pop up and talk about how they're excited about it. But like, that's kind of it, right? I don't know if there's enough anymore. I genuinely don't. So
no, I want to turn the page though to DC, because DC is doing something different. They're getting a little weird. Superman is done. James Gunn introduces Superman's James Gunn, whatever the drinker says, and it was genuinely like, I thought it was an okay movie. I know a lot of people thought it was really good. You enjoyed it.
7 out of 10. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, same thing. 7 out of 10. Gunn comes in and resets the entire operation instead of just like patching up the old one and trying to like do some weird Batman stuff. Now we have Clayface in development, which
we didn't react to it on the show, but we did talk about it because it's a bit of an extreme body horror kind of trailer in terms of what it is. So we didn't end up actually reacting to it on the show. But yeah, Clayface, which looks really interesting. I don't know if it'll be good or not, but it looks like a legit, like fairly low budget, and I don't mean that in a bad way, body horror thing, which is cool because that's what Clayface kind of is if you consider him as a real like live action character.
And then we also, this news of this started breaking a couple weeks ago. Deathstroke and Bane are going to be, they're doing a Deathstroke and Bane with Greg Mottola, who is theoretically going to be the director. Greg Mottola did some stuff from Peacemaker. This is going to be an origin story with, it's going to be weird, man. So the thing that everyone is saying right now is that it's probably not going to be Tom Hardy as Bane. I don't even think they've cast this yet. We're looking at maybe 2028 when this drops. It's going to be with the Venom serum inside of him. He's going to break out of prison and he's going to like go to try to find Batman because that's the origin, right? But Deathstroke is going to be joining him, and they haven't really said how, and I think that's the most interesting thing because Deathstroke as a villain hasn't really been portrayed.
No. He was in the Arrow show, like the CW show. There was a Deathstroke. I think he was a fairly major character for a while anyway on that. That's about it. I don't know if he's even really been done outside of that in live action.
No. So where I'm going with this though is that DC is taking these weird and then we have Lanterns. Now this is the newest trailer just dropped yesterday. I haven't watched this yet. Lanterns, we have described, Templar has actually aptly described this as there he is right there. He's wearing the ring. He's the next Lantern. What did you describe it as? Yellowstone meets
True Detective.
Comics? Yeah, True Detective. There it is right there. Yellowstone meets True Detective. And I haven't seen this new trailer. We're going to watch it. I want to live react to this here. I actually kind of enjoy anything with Kyle Chandler. I'm going to enjoy. Just by default, Coach Taylor himself from Friday Night Lights. Let's watch this and then we can react in person. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
This ring, it's the greatest weapon in the universe. When and if do you...
Okay, hold on. Immediately, this starts out different than the other trailer. Just immediately. Like, there is no, like, cowboy music. There's no, like, driving around in a 78 Plymouth, rocking up to some, like, saloon in the middle of Montana. Okay, sorry. I had to pause it. Here we go.
This ring, it's the greatest weapon in the universe. When and if to use it, that's the whole ball game, Junior.
Did you just use that ring to counterfeit money?
No.
Tell me how you got it. The ring.
You know how I got it. I sure as hell didn't interview for it.
Oh, well, shit, maybe you should have. Power like that, shouldn't you have to work for it?
I've been doing this since you were a baby. And the only way you're gonna get this ring is over my dead fucking body.
I think he likes me. Everybody is lying to us.
You're not leaving here till we find out what they're hiding. Danger's part of the job. You need to be fearless.
How are you chosen for this?
It's only one question. Are you afraid? You afraid?
Are you afraid? No. Are you afraid? Are you afraid? Are you afraid?
I was raised fearless, and I'll do this better than he's ever done it before.
Then go and get it,
Wow.
Jon Stewart.
All right, I'm freaking hyped for this now, man. Holy crap.
Right?
All right. Initial reactions. I'm hype.
I love, like, this, the first comment, I think, on this video, or was one of the first ones, is like, there's your green, James Gunn, probably. something
There's
like
your
that.
green. Happy now? Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. It's like they start. So the first trailer you get, True Detective, whatever, Yellowstone, super quiet cowboy thing. This one they start Ring blocking some giant laser beam, like with a like green shield. We get like lantern powers. We get the Ring being used, and we get a focus on it. And the Are You Afraid? It's so good. This got me hyped for this show. The first one, I was like, okay, like they're doing different stuff. Like, you kind of prefaced it before we got into it, that DC is doing things that are different. All of the things they're creating seem kind of different. And I was like, okay, True Detective, whatever. All right, fair enough. But like, this is much more what I was expecting in terms of a lanterns thing.
Yes.
Like using the Ring. It looked like there was even some of it in space, which is like, well, that makes sense. It's Green Lantern. He should be in space. So like he looked like he was on another planet at one point. Yes, like mentor. I don't know what their relationship is. Like, I don't know why he's with him, because it kind of seems like antagonistic in some ways, and sort of like, if you want the Ring, like it'll be over my dead body. Like, it's like, so, okay. So like, why is he training him? Like, how did this relationship get set up? It like raises a lot of questions. And you get the like, are you afraid? So I mean, certainly we're gonna have, and it looked like they injected him at one point with some yellow thing. So like, I don't know if that's Yellow Lanterns or Sinestro, or like whether he's gonna show up here. But yeah, the first trailer, I was like, okay. This trailer is like, okay, like this looks interesting now. Like this actually looks cool. So I'm into it. I'm into this.
The thing that I also want to point out is that, obviously, outside of all the action, which is what you expect from Green Lantern, the fact that it focuses less on the whole Western vibe, and now gets right into, like, I mean, it was Aaron Pierre or Jon Stewart, like jumping over a car. It looked like in the middle. Yeah, here it is, like in the middle of LA or wherever this is, like, and him being an actual soldier shooting and blowing stuff up. Like, that part is dope. When does this come out? This comes out August 16th. Not soon enough.
Not soon enough.
I think you and I need to do like a full series recap on this thing, like an episode by episode. I'm assuming this will drop episodically. Like they won't just do a dump of it.
Probably, yeah. I feel like they've moved away. A lot of them have moved away from that format of just dumping everything. They'll either do individual episodes or they'll do the batches.
Yeah.
Like 3 episodes at a time. Either way, I agree. Yeah, we got to do this. I was like, whatever on this. And then there's a reason I wore the shirt. Like, there's a reason I broke this out of storage. It's because, like, I watched this the other day and I was like, yes. And I sent it to you and said, like, okay, well, this, like, because we were debating what we were going to talk about today. But then as soon as this came out, I sent it to you and I'm like, this. So I'm hyped. I'm hyped for this now. Yeah, I agree.
So Marvel has this, like, guess who's back, like, Slim Shady type of thing happening, right? Like, hey, look, all of your friends are back. Come and join us. It's all, but DC is doing this, like, here's something you haven't seen before.
Yep.
Which one of those actually builds an audience? Because essentially, if you think about what Marvel's doing, they're having to rebuild their audience.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I mean, certainly the MCU built an audience initially, like a huge audience. Now, yeah, are they trying to? I guess they're trying to get it back. Although, even if Doomsday is successful, I don't know if that means that they're back. Like Marvel was so big because the movies were just consistently good, and there were misses from the beginning, like Thor 2 or Iron Man 2. Like, there were some misses, but generally, if you went to an MCU movie, you knew you were getting something quality.
Morbius.
And they just lost that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Morbin time. Come on.
It's Morbin time. But then they lost that. And so now, can you get the credibility back that people will just buy in to go see your thing, especially when streaming is so ubiquitous now, which it wasn't in 2008 when Iron Man came out. Like,
very true.
I don't know. I don't know if you can get it back to the way it was. This is interesting to me, and it does seem And I mean, I'm a DC guy. Like, I have my bias. Like, I want to see a good DC universe of movies and television because we have never got it. Like, there's aspects I've liked of previous DC stuff, but we haven't had an actual DC kind of universe thing. And it doesn't need to look like the MCU. And they've apparently decided it shouldn't. Because one of the criticisms of the MCU was everything ended up feeling kind of samey. And the movies that were really well liked, like say Winter Soldier or Guardians, were different. They were a little outside of the formula that the MCU had established. In DC, it seems like they're embracing that as largely the formula is everything is going to feel kind of different. I mean, we had Superman. That's like the kind of hopeful vibe. We set up that the universe is fantastical. We're going to do all the things. We're going to have Green Lantern. We're going to have a Hawk woman, Hawk girl. We're going to have so we're not doing a grounded universe. We're doing like the DC Comics universe. Okay, cool. Supergirl looks like a continuation of that, although she's just not as sort of hopeful, not happy-go-lucky, but she's not the Boy Scout kind of character that Superman is. But it looks like it's going to have a fairly light tone. We'll see. I have concerns about Supergirl, even if I hope it's good, which we've talked about.
Yeah.
But then you get into this stuff. Lanterns like this, I'm hyped for. This looks super cool. I like both of those actors. The relationship seems neat. I would love a good Green Lantern thing. Like, I would love a good Green Lantern product.
What do you mean, Ryan Reynolds?
Shout out. And then Clayface, even if it's not for me, because I'm not a huge body horror person in terms of like my own preference for movies, like it's a cool idea that they're making like a lower budget body horror for Clayface. And the fact that he's already been there. And then you have like Creature Commandos, which came out previously, that is really cool and like it brings together an interesting team of characters. And then you have this continuity between the animated and the live action stuff with like Rick Flag. You have Peacemaker. Like, everything feels distinct. Everything feels different. I don't know what Deathstroke and Bane is going to look like, but that's cool. And it's interesting because you're building up all this Batman stuff, but from my understanding, they're nowhere close to a Batman or Batman movie for this universe. And maybe that's because of like what we see on the screen there, the Batman Part 2 with the Matt Reeves stuff. Like, maybe that's because of that. I wonder if they're kind of holding off until that wraps up. But from my understanding, that's supposed to be a trilogy. And we've had 5 years since the last one when this comes out.
Yeah.
Because the first one came out in 22. So they're really taking their sweet time with these Matt Reeves Batman movies. So like, I don't know. So I wondered maybe if they were going to wrap that like the Pattinson Batman up and then introduce a DC Universe Batman, but not if because that was supposed to be a trilogy. So if they are doing a third Batman movie, unless they really make it happen a lot faster, I don't know if that's practical. You might have to have two Batmans happening at the same time.
I didn't realize that was going to be a trilogy. I thought that was open-ended.
Well, maybe it's not official, but I feel like I had heard Reeves talk about it being a trilogy previously.
Okay.
So maybe that's not true. Like, maybe this will be it, and then like maybe they'll transition, and maybe it will be a DC Batman, DCU like James Gunn Batman at that point. I don't know.
Okay.
But you're building up all this Batman stuff, right? Like, because you're building up, you're coming out with Clayface, who's a Batman villain. You have Bane and Deathstroke, who are Batman villains. Like, Deathstroke's in other stuff, but Bane's a Batman villain. Like, you're building up the rogues gallery a little bit with their own projects. But as far as I'm aware, there's been zero movement. I mean, I'm sure there's conversations happening, but there's been nothing announced for anything Batman for this universe. Like,
which is that's an interesting swing, because Batman is the answer to anything that happens in the MCU. Like, I understand Superman but Superman always has the Superman problem. I feel like Batman is the answer. And so you would want to lead with a good Batman. And I like the Robert Pattinson one. We've talked about it at length on this show. I don't think it's something you lead a new franchise with. And so maybe Gunn said like, hey, here's a bunch of money. Here's a universe. Here's a sandbox. Go and do something.
And I mean, Batman has an interesting rogues gallery, so I think you can do a lot to set up his villains with their own projects and lean into that and make some interesting choices and then introduce Batman later. That's an interesting strategy. I don't know if it will work out for them, but
I want to pull this into kind of a close here because I think there's an interesting thing that's going to happen. Well, let me put it this way. What if Doomsday and Mandalorian underperform? What if Lanterns actually turns out to be like a solid 8, maybe a 10, but maybe a solid 8, like really like fun first season of Last of Us, HBO Max, although most of it was okay. That type of thing. Like, what if we get a good series here, and then I don't know how much of us are going to jump into Clayface, but then Supergirl is okay. Like, what actually happens then? Does the quote unquote scales of power shift between the two? Because I do feel like we are very polarized. We still have to be polarized, and maybe that's the world we live in. I don't understand why we can't just enjoy all of them, but you have fanboys and fangirls on either side that are going to push the conversation. What happens if Doomsday and Mandalorian underperform?
I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know what happens. I mean, I think maybe they have to scale back, like, because I don't think the MCU will just be dead, and certainly they're not going to stop making Star Wars things. But I think they have to scale back what it is. Either they have to reassess and go with like, okay, obviously the decision making we've been doing is not correct, although that requires a level of self-reflection. I don't know if Disney is capable of. They do not have. Or like you just go on the money side of it, which they should be able to like engage with that part of it and just say, okay, we're going to keep making the MCU movies, but we're just going to make them smaller. We're not going to spend $400 million on a budget. We're going to spend $100 million on a budget for something. And then we're just going to put out smaller stuff and then maybe see if you can rebuild some credibility and some interest. And then maybe you build back up again. That's what I would think for that. For DC, I think they're pretty well established if these do okay. That because I can't imagine this Lantern show is super expensive. I mean, it's probably not cheap. I don't know what it would be per episode. I mean, the special effects look pretty good for what it is. There it is. There's the sun.
You got flashbanged.
I got flashbanged. I am orange now.
It happened, ladies and gentlemen.
But I don't know how expensive it is, but I think they're more well established. If they're good with doing stuff like Clayface or Deathstroke and Bane, which also shouldn't be a super expensive movie because those are both like fairly practical. I mean, Bane, you're going to have the Venom stuff, but these are not huge movies in terms of budgets needing us a ton of CG everywhere. If they do okay, like they don't even need to do great. Like they can probably build something out here if they're able to continue doing that. So I think they're pretty well positioned if the stuff is okay. Like if Supergirl's all right, if Lanterns is okay, is like good. I think they're pretty well set up and might have a formula that's a little more sustainable going forward because you're not dumping $400 million into a movie or whatever.
Yeah, very true. Okay, last question from me to you. If you had to buy stock in either the Marvel, let's just say Disney, or in the DC side of things, what would you buy stock in right now?
Probably DC. I mean, a lot of that is just I want that to be the case. So, like, I admit that's mostly just going to be my own personal bias, right? I'm trying to see what the budget for Supergirl is. It was reportedly maybe 150 million or less. Which, if that's true for what that movie is, that's smart on their part to not make it huge, like 300 million or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably DC. I find what they're doing interesting. This looks cool. I'm cautiously optimistic for Supergirl. We'll see. I have mixed kind of feelings about what that's going to be. But I like the direction they're going. And the fact that they seem willing to just... And that's what Gunn has said. But he has said essentially that if someone comes to him with a cool idea... if the script is good, then they'll basically greenlight it. Like, as long as it can fit into their plan of what they want to do, then they'll greenlight it, which seems like what this is, right? Like, so someone came to him and said, hey, I have an idea for a Clayface movie that's like a body horror, this and that. And cool. Hey, I have an idea for a Bane and Deathstroke movie. It's like, and obviously they must have liked the script enough to say, okay, cool. I like that idea. So it's probably going to be a looser universe in the sense that the tone isn't going to match all that well all the time, but you'll still have some team ups, but you're probably never going to see this huge, like everyone's in the same movie. So they're just not going to bother with that. Like I assume they want to build to a Justice League thing, but it feels like they don't need it to all come together. And if that's the case, then that's fine. You can also appeal to a wider audience that way. Like the people who are going to go and be interested in Clayface is not the same demographic, probably, at least in large part, is like Supergirl. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of overlap, but that's just because of DC. But people who are interested in like weird body horror, low budget body horror movies is not at all the same people that are going to be interested in Lanterns or in Supergirl or in whatever else is coming down the pipe. So I think that approach is smart, and I hope they get an opportunity to do it, because Warner Brothers is in a weird spot in terms of getting taken over, and like, you know, the plug could always get pulled at any time if they don't like where things are going, right? So you never know. But I would put my money on DC now, because I want it to work and because we've seen the MCU at this point, and it doesn't seem like they're learning the lessons that they should learn.
Yep. Well said. From Templar 10, well said there. I will also add that I think that there is... I would buy stock in DC right now, by the way, on my side. I actually think that the era of movie franchises as a big blockbuster conglomerate thing are over. Just because, you know, one of my favorite things to do, and one of the coolest things to do, was to always like watch a movie and then go to the internet and talk on the internet about the Easter eggs and like the things, right? Like that was always one of like the favorite things to do. You go to you watch Andor, and then you go and there's this Easter egg, and like break all the things down. We're kind of getting away from that because the movies suck, and so you have to put more in the trailers to get people to come watch the movie. And the more you put in the trailer, the less you leave to the imagination of the movie, the less people are actually going to come and go to a Reddit thread and talk about the Easter eggs that they found. And ultimately, I think the whole thing suffers, like the whole movie industry suffers because of it. You only have one Top Gun Maverick that's going to bring people back from COVID. You only have one Oppenheimer that's going to get people to go see things in IMAX. You know, you don't get these big movies anymore like that. I mean, Project Hail Mary made like $1 billion trillion, but like that was kind of out of left field. I mean, there was a lot of hype around it, and even the trailer there didn't release everything that it. I mean, it showed Rocky, like the first trailer at the very end of the first trailer showed Rocky, but like if you didn't know anything about this movie, you're like, this is stupid. Oh, there's an alien. Okay, cool. Like the whole point of Project Hail Mary was it's like a hopeful movie in unhopeful times, which is no offense to what we're living in, but it's kind of unhopeful times. I think that the idea then that the movie franchise is going to perpetuate this, that DC is going to keep trying to do things like that are all tightly interwoven when Marvel has just sort of like crumbled in the last 10 years because of it. I think you're absolutely right. Like I think you give people a sandbox to play in. It's the 40K, it's the Warhammer thing, right? Like you give people a sandbox, a big, huge universe to play in. You give them free reign, and you give them a certain core set of principles to live by and write by and act by and game by, and then say, go. Like you're almost democratizing the universe. Whereas Marvel and Star Wars have this thing, and then they have to bend over backwards to like figure out how to. Why is Maul doing this thing now, but Thrawn was not doing this thing, but Maul didn't have legs, but now, holy crap, and now it's Palpatine, and like now we have to retcon everything that is going to happen after this, and before, like it's just, it's the worst. So that's my take. Anything else before we close up shop here?
No, I think that's an interesting point. And it just makes me think that, and it depends, because you never know if the plug will get pulled on this, but it does mean that something like, say if Supergirl is a disappointment, like it's not that good, it doesn't make a lot of money, you can still do a Lanterns. And if Lanterns does well, you could do Lanterns season 2, and the failure of Supergirl doesn't keep you from doing more things, because you can just do more smaller budget things or more things in the same universe, because it's not all tied together. Like, Lanterns would still appeal to people even if Supergirl doesn't end up being very good or whatever. Now, would that be good for the overall DC universe? No, because if some of those big movies fail, then it means it might be more likely for the plug to get pulled on the whole thing.
It's true.
But I think the success of some of these other things, because they're so different, is not contingent on the success of the thing before it, because it could just be entirely different in tone and what it's actually trying to do. So even if Supergirl doesn't do well, Lanterns could still be successful, and then you could have multiple seasons of Lanterns, even if you don't end up doing anything else with Supergirl down the road because it failed or
That's
something. Like it allows you to have different avenues, and especially if they're not super expensive, to just have a universe, have different things, have different stories going on, and you don't have to have it all come together into an Endgame or a Doomsday or like a whatever. You can just tell your own stories and have them be individually successful, and it's cool. It's like the Penguin or something like that, right? Like the Penguin was just a great show. It's connected to the Matt Reeves Batman, obviously, but like it's just a good crime mob-ish sort of show. Like, and that's all it was.
Yeah.
And like, so you can just go watch that and enjoy it, and you don't need to go watch 6 other things to understand it, or go watch Superman. Like, it's just on its own. And so there are downsides of doing that, because the potential, like, you're not going to get the like $3 billion movie then out of that sort of system, but you can have a lot of individually successful things, which can also be very good for a franchise or for a studio, right? So
yeah, well said. I'm more excited than I thought I was going to be coming into this conversation about DCU, and I attribute that all to that Lanterns trailer. So Lanterns, thank you for doing good work, my dudes. I wonder if they'll have another trailer and it'll be like
August. They might. There's a few months left, so I think they'd have something.
Yeah, I would anticipate they do some like teaser 30
because we haven't really had a story trailer. Like, we kind of know, like it's sort of like these are both called teaser trailers. I think this was called teaser trailer 2, but it's pretty long for a teaser trailer. Remember when teaser trailers were 30 seconds? This is like multiple minutes long. Like, it's just a trailer, but we don't really know what the story is. We know there's some shenanigans going on with some guys on horses, and like they're investigating something or other, but like we don't really know what the story is yet. So I think we'll get a story trailer in maybe end of June, July, and then that'll be setting up, and then that'll be it. Would be my guess.
having a Green Lantern just materialize a $20 bill.
Funny, yeah, this is good. A little bit of humor. Is okay.
So good. All right, do us a favor in the comments below. We'd love to hear if you could buy stock. What would you buy stock in? Would you buy stock in Marvel / Star Wars / Disney, or would you buy stock in anything that the DC universe is doing right now? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know Templar would love to hear your thoughts. And as we walk into the summer, just stay tuned. We're going to be having our best action movie bracket coming up in just a couple of weeks. Yeah, in just a couple of weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of arguing there, and a lot of we love the people over at the Love Thy Nerd community. We don't necessarily agree with a lot of their choices at the Love Thy Nerd community in terms of their favorite sci-fi things. So we're going to bring our own flavor to this. And anybody from Love Thy Nerd, come over to our bracket, and hello, and you're welcome here. Just bring your thoughts to our bracket. We would love to have that. It's going to be fun. Until then, for Templar 10, I'm Chino Mage. We love you. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.